Thank you, Ben Gray. I'm Dr. Ben Thomas. I've been with Algorithm for 5 years. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the new AI functionality, talk to you about what everyone else is talking about. Acumatica has been advertising AI a lot, and now we're ready to show a lot more of the functionality. So I'm going to talk about AI insights in manufacturing, and then the new AI Studio Toolkit. So AI Insights will deal specifically with generic inquiry anomaly detection. And that's really just kind of a big phrase to say it's a new way to process and interpret data over time. So it's like a data finder, a data detective might be another way to say it. And it's helping users see what doesn't look right or what looks normal, either way. Maybe it's an issue with production timing or a problem with purchase lead times or cost variances. Maybe it's an issue in forecasting and planning. Whatever the case is, it would allow you to address business issues proactively, track down the problems. So it's going to allow the user to surface patterns and outliers and that might cause larger problems and deal with them early on. And then another important use is it would provide a cleaner, more stable data set to be able to use. Again, it will help you define what normal data would look like by filtering out anomalies. And then I'm going to talk about AI Studio, which is a low-code, no-code toolkit, and it's inside of Acumatica. And it will allow the user to reduce repetitive work like data entry and content creation. So what is anomaly detection in GIs? Well, it uses a GI or a generic inquiry, and you are probably already familiar with that. Maybe, maybe not. And the anomaly detection is going to use the field for analysis, a number value. And then it's going to also use a date time value. So it's numbers over time, over a timeline. So it's looking to detect anything that deviates from normal historical trends in a given data set. Again, two main points, data points, numbers, and date times. So I'm going to talk about two examples. Acumatica in this new version has provided 4 new generic inquiries for manufacturing. So you could do some data detection in employee efficiencies, labor variances, material variances. Today, I'm going to talk about just overall total production variances. So I'm using this pre-built generic inquiry from Acumatica. And it's going to look at a planned cost total versus the WIP total, and then give you a difference in terms of a percentage. So again, I'm going to use that percentage as my main field for analysis. So walking through this a little more step by step, there's a new interface options tab. And there's a lot of familiar settings, if you know this screen well, that they've transferred. But there's also a new one that I've checked here, detect anomalies. And that gives me another tab here to look at, which we were already just looking at previously. So I've already talked about these fields, my number field and my date field. So again, number over timeline. But grouping is also important. So in this instance, I've chosen my bill of material ID to say analyze these bills of material and then show me the trends, per that bill of material ID. I can also choose, if I want to automatically schedule this, I could run it daily, weekly, or monthly, or just on demand, which I'm going to use here, that allows me to generate things manually. So once I have that set up, I can go to the Detect Anomalies in Generic Inquiry screen, and I can check the box and process. It might take 15, 30 seconds. You actually have to process twice. So first to calculate, and it'll give you some basic information like how many rows it used, what it skipped, how many groups. So I'm getting 10 records per one bomb ID that it's generated. And then it skips some other stuff because it didn't have enough information. Then when I'm done with that, I would click Execute Next Step to do the final process. And that would change from calculation in process to completed. And it would tell me that I've processed my records, all 10 of those records. Okay. So kind of a two-step deal. Then once I've done that, again, that can be done automatically on a schedule. Then I can go to the generic inquiry itself, and I can see some new color coding that we've gotten and some new information that it adds. So you can see here yellow. Yellow means there wasn't enough information to do any anomaly detection. So it just indicates it as yellow, and it doesn't give me any severity level. But the white, or what you're used to there, with no color coding, indicates that it's normal. So that's normal data. I'll explain that. And then any anomalies that it detected, it would put in light red or pink. Maybe it looks pink on your screen, and indicate that as medium. And then anything that's more significant anomaly, it would mark as significant and be a darker red. So you can actually see then over time that that the variances were kind of running somewhere around -17 up to 14% total operation variance. So that's what it considers normal. And it even gives on the right what it expected over that timeline. But then if you notice that the medium anomalies that it detected, those are much higher. So something might have been going on at operation 30. Maybe there's some kind of timing process that we need to talk about. So maybe something's off with the bills of material. But either way, I need to identify this, and I can do it proactively, go correct those data errors or investigate any operational issues before they perhaps get out of control and become worse. Again, so the key takeaway here is to just proactively address problems with your data. Okay. So that was an example of a pre-built anomaly detection. Then I built my own generic inquiry just to show you that it doesn't have to be pre-built. You can just make your own. And so this one, I wanted to analyze my vendor lead times, and I was looking for a clean data set. So I just took my purchase order dates versus my receipt dates and then just gave the difference here. So if we look at anomaly detection, I'll take that lead time and use that as my number for analysis, and then the receipt date to give me some time. And then I'm grouping by inventory ID and vendor. Alternatively, you could have just done the vendor. And I calculate that, and I go look at my results, and I can see, I can kind of see what normal is. It was right around 15 or 16 on average. But I noticed that I have some data here, some anomalies. One is rather significant. It's over it took 1,000 days for something to come in. That seems definitely to be an anomaly, probably incorrect data. This 78 might have actually been what happened, but these data figures can skew the average or the historical trend. So if I'm trying to set an accurate vendor lead time or do some analysis, uh, these values would throw it off. I might have to export it to Excel, do more analysis, so on and so forth. But here at a quick glance, I can look and see, well, about the highest that I normally got was around 29 or 25. So I could set that vendor lead time for that item at right around maybe 30 or 25 and eliminate. So the important takeaway here is that uh, here I'm not really addressing a problem, but I'm much more quickly being able to present myself with a cleaner, stable data set to make decisions. So it's kind of like detection anomaly in reverse. You know, instead of finding it, I'm filtering it out. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is AI Studio. And again, this is a low code, no code toolkit inside Acumatica. It's meant to reduce manual repetitive work. And I'm going to specifically look at how to add an item description to the stock item screen. So we'll look at just a little bit of setup. So there's a new screen called LLM connections. You can tap into, they give you four options here. Maybe your favorite AI interface. So they give you AWS and Anthropic and Azure. Today I'm using OpenAI, specifically the ChatGPT interface. And what I had to get to set this up was a licensed API key. So, however, you have to pay something to one of these AI interfaces, and then bring that key in here. But once you have that, you can test your connection, and if it's good, it will become active. Then the next thing you do, there's an LLM prompt screen. Uh, and this is where you set up the instructions for input and output to do the task for you. Now, it looks kind of complicated, and maybe it is a little bit for some users, but the thing to take away here is that most of it is plain English, just like you're used to, already if you're using ChatGPT for other things. So you get that set up, and you'll notice here I added a button called Add Description, and it kind of becomes like a custom button that it will add to this screen that I can go use. So when I go to the stock items screen, you can see on my More Actions menu under LLM Actions that there's a new button here that's called Add Description that was taken from that prompt screen. And you'll notice that there's a description missing. It's warning me. And you'll notice that while I have a very nice picture or image here of my Lego set, that I don't have any nice customer marketing description that I could use and present generally, maybe on a website or a store. So I could type all this out and do some work, or maybe even go to other screens. But natively here in Acumatica now with AI Studio, I can go click this button and it will generate a description for me, both internally at the top, and then also here this more marketing friendly description. So we'll see what it presents. So already that's pretty nice, pretty quick and easy, right? Pretty nice. So it gave me the description, gave it here too. And I could edit this, but I could also play around with some of the results, click it again, and see if it gives me anything a little different. Each time I do this, It's just a little bit different. Sometimes it's consistent, sometimes so here you can see it gave me more of a text, so I could play around with this, run it again and again, get what I like, and maybe edit it a little bit. You could also go back and tweak the prompt to maybe dial in the way you like, have some more consistency. Either way, pretty nice feature for people, and it's going to be interesting for me to see how we can use this throughout the system.